Do you expect me to poach my steak? Well, yes, that's what people used to do until the oil industry was invented. They steamed or poached or pressure cooked their foods. Okay. How do I fry an egg? Well, if it doesn't turn brown, you're okay, but you'll probably turn around and do something else, and by the time you come back, it'll be, at least part of it'll be brown. So it takes a lot of care to do that. That's why I don't recommend you even do it. So poach your eggs, soft boil them, hard boil them. You know, the eggs are just as good. So that's killer fat 2. Killer fat 3, the colorless, odorless, tasteless oils. Those are every oil in the supermarket except for extra virgin olive oil. And you'll find those in health food stores on the shelf as well. So the oils you get in the health food store, you want to actually go to the fridge and get the oils that are protected from heat in the fridge, in brown glass bottles, protected from light. And the one I work with is in a box because I'm really anal about freshness. So there's no light can get through the box. The colorless, odorless, tasteless oils are colorless, odorless, and tasteless because they take an oil the way I would make it, which is basically squeeze organically grown seeds, and then the oil drips out, and it's done under protection from light and oxygen and heat, and then we let the seed material settle. And that's again done under protection. And then the oil gets put in the brown glass, then it's nitrogen flushed, the cap goes on, then it goes in the box. A 6-month shelf life goes on the box under refrigeration. And then it's stored refrigerated. You'll find it refrigerated in the stores, you refrigerate it at home, or you freeze it. To take an oil like that and turn it into a colorless, odorless, tasteless oil would require that we treat it with sodium hydroxide, and that's to remove minor ingredients that make up 2% of the oil that have major benefits but that shorten shelf life. And then we would treat it with phosphoric acid to remove other, more minor ingredients for the sake of shelf life. Then we would treat it with bleaching clay to take the color out because that too shortens the shelf life. And the bleaching turns it rancid and then it smells and tastes bad. And now to clean up the bad taste and smell, the oil has to be heated to frying temperature. The process is called deodorization, means to get rid of the bad odor. That's carried out at frying temperature, about 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's done, you have a colorless, odorless, tasteless oil. Safflower, sunflower, corn, soybean, canola, sesame, almond, peanut, 100% olive oil and extra light olive oil have also been treated that way. So you got to look for the extra virgin. They've all been treated that way. Grapeseed oil, I don't know if I missed any, but the blends, they've all been treated that way. And what happens is you lose the minor ingredients, and the minor ingredients are important for a balanced oil. You lose the phytosterols that block cholesterol absorption. You end up with an unbalanced oil. About 0.5 to 1% of the molecules have been changed from natural to toxic, and they've been tested in animals, and they're even more toxic than the trans fatty acids. And there's some research that shows that when you heat oils above 300 degrees Fahrenheit, they change from mutation protective to mutation causing. Those oils, especially safflower and corn oil, are associated with increased cancer, and some of them are also associated with increased cardiovascular disease. So I don't recommend those oils. Of course, they're used in all of your convenience foods, so there's another good reason, aside from the fact that they have too much starch and you end up carrying the extra fuel as fat. There's another reason why not to eat them, because they're also not only that, but they're also toxic. And so it makes more sense to go basic, fresh vegetables, whole grains, good protein, good fats, and make your foods at home from those. Health requires care, and convenience kills. Or as the naturopaths say, the natural healers say, eat things that spoil, just eat them before they do, right? So that's killer fat 3. Killer fat 4 is saturated fats, and I have some good news for you. First of all, saturated fats are natural. They're used in body structures. They've been in nature for longer than we have. So they're not toxic in the same sense that the processed fats are. Where the problem comes in is if you're deficient in essential fats, the saturated fats will make you more deficient because they compete. The essential fats make platelets less sticky, and the saturated fats make them more sticky. The essential fats are required for insulin function, and the saturated fats interfere with insulin function. And so the way if you've brought in and optimized your good fats, then you can use saturated fats in moderation without fear. They will not make you fat because they suppress appetite. And the way you figure out what moderation is, you do it by skin feel. If you've optimized your good fats so your skin is soft and velvety, and then you eat saturated fats and you eat too much of them, you will lose your soft, velvety feel. So your skin will tell you. So that's the good news on the saturated fats. They're natural, they're not toxic, but they'll cause you problems if you don't bring in and optimize your good fats. Okay? The last killer fat, sugar, or any of the sweet stuff. Sugar turns into the same fat I just talked about and causes lots of problems. Besides making platelets more sticky and interfering with insulin function, sugar also spikes your insulin, so it stresses your pancreas. And then when your sugar goes down, then it stresses your adrenals. So you wear out your adrenals with sugar. But sugar also rots your teeth, and it's great food for bacteria, funguses, and cancer cells. It cross-links proteins and makes you age faster. So anybody who thinks their wrinkles are not progressing fast enough, we can help you. Just eat lots of sugar. They'll progress apace, as Shakespeare would have said. They take minerals like magnesium and chromium out of your body. They can increase adrenaline production by up to 4 times. So they're a very powerful internal stressor. So there's not much to recommend. And the main problem is they're absorbed so fast that they flood your bloodstream. And that's a problem then your body. It's much more toxic to have high blood sugar than it is to have high fat. And that's why the body will drive them into the cells using insulin and turn them into fat for storage in the cells. Because carrying the fat around is less toxic than having high blood sugar. Okay, and so the body has a mechanism to deal with that. There are 2 issues with sugar. One is that usually it's white, which means the minerals required for its metabolism have been removed. And when the minerals required for sugar metabolism have been removed from the sugar, then the sugar will take those minerals out of your body. Okay? And that will deplete your mineral stores. The second problem with sugar is the rate at which it's absorbed. And that's proportional to the rate at which it's ingested. So if you were to take a gram of sugar with each meal, or even 5 grams of sugar with each meal, you'd probably be okay. The problem with us is we use 160 pounds of sugar a year, which is about half a pound a day, and that's too much. Because if you were to eat, well, let me give you an example. There's a cancer treatment where people get a 6-ounce glass of apple and carrot juice with some green juices in it, and they use it to reverse cancer. But there's quite a bit of sugar in the carrot juice and the apple juice. So if you were to drink that whole glass, then you would get spacey because your blood sugar went high or went low, and you'd stress your adrenals and your pancreas, and you turn the sugar into fat. So what they do is they give you the juice. Every hour you get a 6-ounce glass of juice, and they tell you to sip it for an hour so that you're sipping the juice at the rate at which the sugar is burnt, and then it works. Okay? Now we're having the sugar here is in its natural state with the minerals and everything. So the issue is always how much at any one time. Okay? So again, sugar is not evil. It's how we use it that causes the problems. Because starch turns into sugar, and sugar is the main fuel for the body. So the important thing is to bring it in or to digest and absorb it at the same rate that it's being burnt, and not to take in more than we're actually burning. And that depends on our level of activity. Okay, I think knowing that helps to be able to figure out how to use it more wisely. Now, there is actually a good function for white sugar, and that is that if you're ever in a war and you get wounded, and you pack the wound with white sugar, it won't fester. Okay, so next time you get into a war, take a pound of white sugar along, just don't eat it.
Thank you, Udo, for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us the past 2 weeks. If you would like to obtain further information on Udo's book, or if you're interested in purchasing any of his products, please contact him at his website at www.udoerasmus.com.
We have just heard from Udo what toxic, rancid, hydrogenated fats do to our physical bodies. Do you have any idea how much of these toxins are in your current daily diet? At your first opportunity, I'd like you to read the labels of any and all processed or packaged food stored away in your cupboards, pantry, refrigerator, and freezer. You will be amazed at how many of these food products contain hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated fat. It's found in many brands of bread, salad dressing, soup mixes, cereal, nuts, shortening, creamy peanut butter, margarine, and even mayonnaise. Now is the time to put Udo's teaching into practice. I strongly recommend that you get rid of these toxic foods and replace them with healthy alternatives. Your entire family will benefit from these simple yet vitally important changes. Remember, foods that are commercially processed with unhealthy fats, preservatives, and chemicals are a far cry from the real foods God gave us to enjoy. Whole foods build our health. Processed foods destroy it. Udo has taught us that we need to start incorporating healthy fats into our diets. Some of us may need up to 6 to 12 tablespoons each day just to cure our deficiencies. Others may need as little as 2 to 4 tablespoons daily. You and your doctor will decide how much is best for you. Now, you're probably thinking, if I were to count all the calories or fat grams associated with that much beneficial oil, I couldn't eat anything else. Well, listen to this. Because I believe so strongly in the benefits of these oils, and because I know from personal experience that they do not cause weight gain, I am asking you to please begin to incorporate them into your diet immediately without counting the calories. I don't want all your calories for the day spent on oils that heal you. So feel free to use extra virgin olive oil, Udo's Perfected Oil Blend, and any of the other healthful oils outlined in Udo's presentation without concern for their caloric value. But be honest with yourself. Saturated fats, regular processed oils, and other unhealthy fats identified in today's lesson will continue to count against your daily caloric totals. But again, I strongly urge you to eliminate these toxic foods from your daily diet and replace them with healthy alternatives. Healthy oils will help make your skin soft and supple, and your body will be healed.
As we head into the 6th week of Prism, ask yourself these important questions. How am I feeling about myself? Physically, emotionally, spiritually? Am I taking the time to have my needs met? What have I been doing to replenish myself? These questions are very important. Let me illustrate why. Imagine that you are this pitcher full of water. As you can see, empty glasses of all sizes and shapes surround you. These glasses represent the people, places, and things that you pour yourself into each day. Your spouse, children, friends, and office associates, your household chores, church activities, schoolwork, sporting events, and social obligations. Every relationship and responsibility you have requires something from you. Just thinking about all you do for others each day can make you feel tired. Imagine that you, just like this pitcher, are pouring yourself out. Imagine that you're giving a part of yourself to the relationships and responsibilities in your world. If you're not careful to replenish yourself, you could be running on empty by noon. So, how do you get filled up again? Take the time to tend to your own physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. Your needs are just as important as everyone else's, not more important, but just as important. Your enrollment in the Prism program is one very significant way of replenishing yourself. Prism helps you meet your own needs by teaching you how to eat healthy foods, address the personal and emotional issues that have surfaced, develop and maintain an exercise program, and read the scriptures. It's so important to carve out time for yourself each day. Fill out your journal, eat delicious, satisfying, healthy food, take a walk, talk to God, take a bath, get a massage, call a friend, date your spouse, date your children, get plenty of rest, read a good book. In other words, fill your pitcher. If you don't, how can you possibly keep giving to others? You can't give what you don't have. You see, replenishing yourself doesn't just benefit you, it benefits the ones close to you.
Before closing this week's lesson, I want to personally urge you to please take the time to fill your pitcher. To encourage you in continuing your transformation and journey, I leave you with the words of the Apostle John from his 3rd letter. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy to have some brothers come and tell about your faithfulness to the truth and how you continue to walk in truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in truth. May you continue to walk in truth and good health in the week to come.
Well, you're just about finished with this workbook. What an accomplishment! As you work your way through your daily lessons for week 6, you will be directed to make an important decision. You must decide whether or not you want to weigh yourself. Some of you are eager and anxious to step on that scale and discover how much you have lost. Others may realize that you still have an addiction to the scale and need to stay off it completely. Even if you choose not to weigh yourself, you can still monitor your progress with a tape measure and your loose clothing. These important measurements will confirm that you are progressing on your journey. If you just can't decide what to do, go to the Lord in prayer and ask Him for His wisdom and guidance. It will come. There is no right or wrong decision. Some will weigh and some will not. This important decision is completely up to you. As you finish up your final lesson for the coming week, you'll have another important decision to make, but this one should be very easy. The question to ask yourself is, do I want to continue the Prism Weight Loss Program and enroll in Phase 2? And the answer is yes. Without a doubt, I most definitely do. When you look at how far you've come on your journey to discovering the true you, you should feel great pride in your accomplishments. You certainly have come a long way. The benefits to your physical health may be quite obvious, but what about the benefits to your emotional health and well-being? You are just beginning your transformation process, and this process takes time. As you well know, you didn't gain your weight overnight, or even in 6 short weeks. And likewise, the Prism program is not an overnight fix. Changing your habits, attitudes, and lifestyle takes time, and this program is designed to help you take the time necessary for making a complete transformation. We sincerely hope to see you return for the first week of Phase 2. Many exciting experiences await you. We'll teach you how to eat in restaurants and how to cope in a food-centered society. We'll also discover that your mind and body both play important roles in weight loss. We'll take a good look at your emotions and stress level. You'll be challenged, you'll be encouraged, and you'll be supported by people who really care about you and your incredible journey. May God bless you and guide you in your decisions this week, and may you feel a sense of peace as you look forward to the next leg of your life-changing journey.
The reason I joined the Prism program was because I had felt that there wasn't any hope. I had tried lots of different diets. 25 years ago, I thought I'd wreck my body before I quit trying to starve myself. It was a very frustrating time, and I just had kind of given up, thinking that there wasn't a solution or an answer. So when Prism was offered, I was very hesitant, and my friend just kept encouraging me. And so I went fairly reluctantly to that first meeting. The agreement of resolution was the one thing that I thought might encourage me to continue in the program. And I needed some guidelines. I'm of Norwegian stock where people have, kind of lived by what was appropriate and good. And so I thought, well, maybe with some basic, straight guidelines, then I could be successful. There's a glimmer of hope there. The sixth week rolled around, and I felt like this was the time that I was going to have to make some decisions. Should I step on the scale? Should I not? Should I just continue? Actually, it kind of came down to the point where I wasn't concerned either way. Either way, it would have been okay with me. By the time Thursday morning rolled around and I pulled out the scale and I stepped on it, and I felt, yay, I've accomplished this much, and I have some obtainable goals to continue and to work in the program. Well, I just have been feeling like I have got to be honest with myself, and the Prism program has given me that guidance and that direction. Each week I have to face me, and that was the hardest part. The first 6 weeks I had to keep continually looking at who I am and where I had gone wrong all these years. And through that, I gained some insight into how to eat better and how to have a more nutritious lifestyle. But beyond that, it was the basic God premise that I needed to fortify for my day-to-day walk and change the eating habits that I had built up that were so bad for years. And I feel that the Prism program has given me all that.